It feels like there's a vitamin C serum for every single zip code out there. There is no shortage of them, but the question is which ones are good, which ones are bad, and which ones are right for you. Vitamin C is an awesome ingredient in skincare, and it's well tolerated by a lot of people. I've got 11 vitamin C serums here that I have tried that I'm going to rank from my least favorite to my most favorite, specifically based on how they work for my very oily, very acne prone and scarred skin. And yes, one of these did break me out. But before we even dive into formulations, let's talk about why vitamin C is so popular, why there are so many serums, and what you should know about it. Vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin, and you've probably heard of it for nutritional reasons because it's in oranges and lemons and it helps prevent scurvy. While this is true, did you know that bell peppers actually have more vitamin C than oranges and lemons? Vitamin C in our body is a coenzyme to collagen production, basically the strong stuff that is the most abundant protein in our body and that makes up our skin. Vitamin C is known for quite a few things, from its antioxidant benefits in sun to how it can help with pigmentation, but how does it actually work? First off, yes, vitamin C does give a good brightness and a good glow. You see, vitamin C is an antioxidant, and there have been studies that show that vitamin C actually helps when combined with sunscreen. UVB rays are the ones that burn our skin, and when vitamin C was applied, those UVB rays took longer to make the skin red. Now, vitamin C is not a replacement for sunscreen. You still need to use sunscreen, but using a vitamin C serum underneath an SPF is like a really good thing to do for the day. Vitamin C as an antioxidant can also help with damage, basically free radicals, these reactive oxygen species. Because vitamin C as an antioxidant can kind of calm down these free radicals, it stops those free radicals from actually damaging your skin more. As mentioned, vitamin C also helps with pigmentation. Tyrosinase is that rate-limiting enzyme that is critical in the pigmentation pathway. And when vitamin C is applied, it does stop the skin from being able to produce as much melanin. Melanin is that color created by the melanocytes, those specific skin cells, that causes pigmentation in the skin. So after an acne breakout, if you have little areas of patchiness, if you are someone who ends up getting pigmentation after you wax or something, vitamin C could be a really good bet. And we can't talk about vitamin C without talking about collagen in the skin, specifically how it does work. Vitamin C helps collagen be produced. Again, you really need to make sure that you're eating it in your diet because it's water soluble, your body doesn't store it, and nutrition is more important than skincare when it comes to collagen formation for your entire body. But for your skin, applying vitamin C can help with that collagen formation, and it actually helps with the way the collagen fibrils kind of line up together. This can help with fine lines, this can help with wrinkles, and there are certain people or certain brands out there that say that vitamin C helps with acne and scarring. From my understanding, there's nothing in vitamin C that directly fights acne bacteria. However, because it is slightly anti-inflammatory, it could help in that sense, and because it does help stop pigmentation, it could help anyone who has acne scarring that is prone to pigmentation. So it does a lot of stuff, but what's right for you and when should you use it? The thing about vitamin C is that it's a bit finicky. It's not the most stable molecule, so it's usually better in a light sealed container. And this is actually what vitamin C looks like when it has oxidized. We're not talking about this serum today. This was a tried and true of mine. I used it for probably 3 years. It's from Juice Beauty. But this is not what vitamin C should look like. This is what happens if you leave it in the presence of oxygen or sunlight. Vitamin C also does come in many different forms, from magnesium ascorbyl phosphate to L-ascorbic acid. And L-ascorbic acid is probably the most common, but it can also be the most irritating. You see, vitamin C works best at what's called a low pH, potential hydrogen, basically an acidic environment. And those acidic environments can sting the skin a little bit. I've actually got a vitamin C in here that's combined with an AHA, an alpha hydroxy acid, which is also best at an acidic environment because it is an acid, but we'll talk about that in a second. But because of that, some vitamin C products can sting or be more irritating. So we're gonna talk about the ones that I have tried for my skin, especially in the morning. That's when I personally like to apply my vitamin Cs. You can use vitamin C in the morning or in the evening. Now I do apply it in the morning just because I know it gives me that little SPF boost underneath my sunscreen application, and for me it seems to work really well that way. But again, how well it works depends on the formula. So let's talk about the one that just didn't work and actually made my skin worse. This one is the Ginger Vitamin C Serum Shot from Sweet Chef, and Sweet Chef is actually the sister brand to Glow Recipe. Glow Recipe is amazing. They're a little bit more prestige and you find them at Sephora. Sometimes You get a good product from a brand, you get a great product from a brand, and then you have a bunch of losers. And I was like, okay, this has to be good, right? A lot of Sweet Chef's products are, but this was just not it for me. This had ginger. It was a little bit irritating to my skin if I did apply it over a blemish, but my main quell with this was that I didn't really see a difference. But some of these other vitamin C's that we'll talk about, you know, I actually see an instant glow to my skin, or I actually feel it absorbing and like works well under my sunscreen. This one was just ridiculously sticky. This one was almost slimy, and it actually made me break out. I am acne prone, so this might not happen for everyone. And again, some people like that sticky feel, but for me, this one was just not it. Also the ginger. Ginger, when formulated into a skincare product, can be really good. Please do not do like the TikTokers. Do not go and apply ginger directly to your nose and your blackheads. That's not how it works. Ginger has a compound called gingerol, which can actually irritate the skin, similar to capsaicin, which is found in what? Jalapeno peppers. That's right, if you're not going to rub jalapeno peppers on your skin, please don't rub ginger on your skin. If it's formulated in a product, it's better, but this one was just not for me. It says brightens dark spots and uneven tone. I don't feel like it fixed my uneven tone. It was super tacky, and it actually stopped my sunscreen from like laying down perfectly on my skin. A sunscreen really has to settle into the skin and create this film. It has to create this shield or this veil. When I used this serum underneath my sunscreen, it stopped my sunscreen from setting up or from actually completing that veil. This was not it for me. Then we have this Indeed Labs product. This is the vitamin C that James Welsh made me try. James Welsh described this as a really hydrating, milky, kind of serum-y consistency, and let me tell you, it is. But for a few reasons, even after I tried it and used it for a while, it didn't end up being my favorite. Now, James Welsh is totally right. This does give a really silky, dewy look to the skin when you first put it on, but this product actually has volcanic, is it volcanic ash or it's volcanic mud or volcanic dirt? It has some volcanic extract in it, and I actually find that it kind of dries down really mattified on my skin. And again, I am oily and acne prone, so I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Do I love this? And then I realized that no, it didn't stop my oil from coming through. It just kind of created this, I don't know, like a little cracky layer on my face, which I was just not a fan of. It does have hyaluronic acid, and the brand actually claimed that this is non-irritating. They state that it's like 15 times more potent than other vitamin C serums. I like a lot of Indeed Labs products, but this one just didn't do much for me. Similar to the Sweet Chef one, it was just slightly tacky. Of course, the way that products layer over other products could have an impact on that, but this one was just not my favorite. They do have a vitamin C cream, and I would recommend the vitamin C cream over this one. I feel like it's more efficacious, it feels better on my skin. James Welsh does have very different skin than I do. He likes a good glow, he does want something more dewy, he has more combination skin and rosacea, whereas I am acne and oily prone, so maybe it was just a mismatch, but depending on your skin type, know that that's how it worked for me, that's how it worked for him, and for me, the volcanic crustiness was just not my cup of tea, or my cup of C. While we're at it, can you please give that like button a glow up? The like button has never tried a vitamin C, and it really needs one. And the subscribe button is kind of looking at it funny, so why don't you give the subscribe button a niacinamide serum? Did you know that only 50% of the people who watch these videos are subscribed? Let's fix that. The like button is glowing, fresh, vitamin C'd up, and the subscribe button is no longer jealous. Give yourself a pat on the back. That is a good one. Then we get to this, which I wanted to love. This is the Glossier Super Glow Vitamin C Magnesium Serum, and I did a video like a couple years ago talking about like this versus the Ordinary, because the Ordinary also has a magnesium ascorbyl phosphate, which is a vitamin C. This is very different than the Ordinaries, and I really wanted to love this. It has jojoba oil, it has shea butter, it has vitamin C in the form of magnesium ascorbyl phosphate. It's technically called the Super Glow, and so I thought that I was going to be obsessed with this. I thought it was going to be my new best friend, but it smells a little bit crusty, and it doesn't actually work for my oily prone skin. Now this is where subjective experiences really matter. If you have dry skin, I think you're going to love this. It's kind of like this creamy, almost like a pearlescent texture, but it almost feels like a non-greasy oil. It sets up on the skin in like this liquid, but then it actually gives you this shine and almost like this grease to the face. And again, I am acne prone and oily. Some of the sunscreen formulations that I use are also oily. So for me, this was almost not just glow, it was a little bit of a grease fest, especially by the end of the day. I love that it has shea butter in it. It's definitely super hydrating. If you're looking for a vitamin C that is more hydrating, this is going to be for you. I know that vitamin C can sting some people, especially if you have dry or cracked skin. Fun fact, vitamin C actually has been shown to help with wound healing. If you're someone who has really dry skin, I think you will love this. But for me and my oily prone skin, I found that it sat on top a little bit more. It just wasn't the perfect formula for me. Out of all of the Glossier products I've tried and all of the vitamin C products in this 11-step lineup, this one only comes in at number 3. Then we get to this. Oh, this is the Glow Baby Booster Serum, and this is a vitamin C product, but it's also got glycolic acid. This is from Pacifica. This is a vitamin C and exfoliator, but there's positives and negatives to that. Remember that glycolic acid is that AHA, alpha hydroxy acid, that exfoliates the skin. Remember how we spoke about vitamin C likes to live in an acidic environment, same with AHAs. So this is stabilized really well in order to do that, in order to support the skin. But because of that, I don't always like to apply an exfoliator right before I'm going out in the sun or going out for the day. And that's why if you are going to use this vitamin C, I would recommend it only at night. If you do not like fragrance, you will hate this. And if you like your skincare to smell good, to feel good, this is going to be your new best friend. This smells like a unicorn licking an orange creamsicle. It's not as overpowering as the Ole Henriksen one. I feel like the Ole Henriksen Truth Serum just slaps you in the face with an orange sherbet. But this is gentle, it's muted. Oh my god, but it's a unicorn eating an orange creamsicle like on the park bench next to you, and then they're like, hey, you wanna try some? I have another. And you are just like, oh my god, this is sensory bliss. I think that the reason I like this product so much is because it also combines that glycolic acid. We know that AHAs exfoliate and therefore give a glow to the skin, and when using this, I see an immediate glow. I love this so much, but the reason it's not at the very top of this list for me is because I don't attribute the vitamin C to giving me those benefits. Yes, it is a vitamin C hybrid serum, but I think it is the glycolic acid that's actually doing a lot of that work for this product and for my face. My only frustration with it is that I shouldn't be using it first thing in the morning, so I can only use it at night if I want to incorporate it in my routine. Then we've got this one. This is really cool. It's from Jimiso. It is vegan and cruelty-free. It's from Korea, and this is called the All Day Vitamin Brightening and Balancing Serum. Now, similar to the Pacifica one, I would put this much higher, but this isn't just a vitamin C serum. This has vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin D, vitamin K, vitamin E. This has basically all of the vitamins, and it has Centella asiatica, which you know is tiger grass. Super soothing to the skin. It doesn't have a major scent. It smells fresh. I believe the ingredients do have bergamot oil. My skin is not a fan of that, and bergamot oil is one of the essential oils I wish we could just keep out of skincare. It really does nothing other than give a sensory experience, and sometimes that's important, but you know, there are other things like limonene that can give a fragrance, but they can also act as carrier molecules, or they can draw other molecules deeper into the skin. And for me, bergamot oil is just not that. So that is the one thing that I dislike about this, but everything else about it is so good. It's inexpensive and affordably priced, and again, it's this gel texture that really turns into a water and goes on so nicely to the skin. Because of this, it's relatively non-irritating as long as you're not sensitive to bergamot or citrus, and this does kind of feel like a water cream. It is not the most potent vitamin C out there, but for someone who is new to skincare, for someone who wants a brightening day serum that is affordable, that is lightweight, that is fun, I would say that this works for oily skin. This could work for dry skin because it's kind of a water cream. You would still need to apply a moisturizer over top if you do have dry skin, but if you're oily, this isn't going to freak you out. It's not sticky, it's not goopy. I absolutely love this, and especially for someone who's just getting into skincare or just trying a vitamin C for the first time, this would be a really great go. Now this one from Covey is kind of what the Indeed Labs was going for. Remember, Indeed Labs said that theirs was like 15 times more potent, and I didn't feel like it did much for my skin. This Covey vitamin C is actually 50 times more potent, or so they claim, but I actually saw differences in my skin when I used this. This is an excellent vitamin C that absorbs really well into the skin. When you actually kind of pump it out, it comes out you know, like a serum, but it's almost like a milky serum. And this just goes onto the skin like margarine. I wouldn't say butter, I would say like margarine, but it really soaks in nicely. And I actually saw results when I used this. This comes as like a part of a 3-step system. They have a cleanser, they have this, and then they have like a moisturizer. I actually feel like this works better with their moisturizer. On its own, it's still good. I don't think it does up to 50 times, you know, the potency of like a regular vitamin C. I'm sure that that depends on like what they're comparing it to. But when you put it on, it's like margarine that soaks into your skin. And then like, it feels like a little margarined fluffy bun that came right out of the oven and is just plump and soft and sweet. This makes my skin feel really good, but my biggest pick with this is that it is $59. I think if you get it part of the system, it might be different. And there's not a lot in here that's revolutionary other than the vitamin C. You know, they're not throwing niacinamide in there, they're not throwing a bunch of other actives in there. The delivery system is really good, but it's not like they're throwing in a bunch of other ingredients in there the way that something like this does with the vitamins A, B, E, D, C, K, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. But at the same time, devil's advocate, that could also be a good thing because the results that I'm actually getting from this are from the vitamin C. I actually found that there was a little bit, I don't know if it's a reduction of wrinkles or if it's just the plumping of wrinkles. I do have little fine lines, especially around my eye area here, and I've actually used this as an eye cream. Remember that I always say that eye creams are overpriced moisturizers in a little tin. If you can use it here, you can use it here as long as it doesn't have, you know, fragrances or aromatic alcohols that irritate the eye area. Just don't get them in the conjunctiva or inside the eye, especially because it has the vitamin C. It can help with this under eye brightness. It is really, really good. Is it worth the $59? Not totally sure yet. I think it works better as a part of the set, but this is a halfway decent one. But then we get to Wander Beauty. This is relatively new, but it is so good. This is what the Glossier wishes it could be. This is a lightweight, absorbable vitamin C that's actually for oily skin like myself. You could use this if you have dry skin, and you could definitely use this if you have, you know, combination or oily like me, but this just goes on so nicely. You see how it's almost tense up a little bit? It just smooths onto skin so well, and even though it is like a serum, or what do they call it, a concentrate, I almost find it to be like a hybrid serum and moisturizer. And because it absorbs, it actually gives my skin that glow, but not that grease the way the Glossier one does. This does have vitamin C, it has squalane, it has vitamin E, which is another amazing antioxidant and good for scarring. This does have hyaluronic acid to kind of lock and draw moisture into the skin. And this does have niacinamide, which along with vitamin C and on its own can help with pigmentation and with collagen, and with oil regulation. And I think that for my skin type that is a little bit more oily, that is why I really liked this, is because it actually helps with that oil regulation on my skin. Whereas this one, it had jojoba and other oils in it, but it didn't help with oil regulation. It just gave me a little too much oil and a little bit too much grease for what I wanted in like a serum step. This is really great. It is lightweight, it hydrates. Now the one thing that they do say online is that it has these pearl optics. And when I first saw that, I was like, oh hell no, please don't sell me makeup in disguise as skincare. But this is actually not makeup. Like if you take this out, it is actually a cream, and it's not like they're throwing mica in here. Like if you look at the Banana Bright Eye Cream from Ulla Henriksen, a lot of people are like, oh, it makes my under eye so bright. And it's like, yeah, because you're applying makeup. That's great if you want under eye concealer and under eye luminizer and eye makeup, but if you're looking for skincare, don't sell me makeup that's disguised as skincare. You know what I mean? And so when they said those pearl optics, I kind of got scared, but like when you look at this, it is not a highlighter, it is not a shimmer. It makes the skin look dewy and luminous, but it doesn't have like these pearlescent pigments in it. If you don't like niacinamide, might not be for you. If you do have drier skin, you're probably going to like the Glossier one more, but for me, this was exactly what my face was asking for. You know that I don't like to overspend if I don't have to. These are two that are wonderful, but they're a little bit more prestige because they are over $40. The Ordinary and the Inculus are obviously some of my favorites, but I actually have ones that I like more. But let's start with this one. This one is actually relatively new to me. This is the 15% vitamin C and EGF serum. EGF is epidermal growth factor. They say that this does intensively brighten, and boy, does it. This is super gentle. I find this to be extraordinarily non-irritating. I can use this day and night, and it's actually got a signaling peptide in there. It's oligopeptide 1. And peptides are, you know, very interesting. They're very promising in the skin. Peptides are what line bind themselves up into these chains. Amino acids become these peptide chains, which fold themselves into proteins. And although the proteins are too big to get into our skin, the peptides actually can. But again, that's the EGF. The actual vitamin C in here is also really, really awesome. As you can see, this is a nice lightweight texture and it doesn't get overly sticky on my skin. The vitamin C that they use is ascorbyl glucoside. And remember how L-ascorbic acid is like the most commonly used form of vitamin C that a lot of brands like to use. It is great, but it can be slightly irritating. For someone who is more irritated by specific vitamin C products, ascorbyl glucoside is a really good option. Magnesium ascorbyl phosphate, sodium ascorbyl phosphate, there's a whole bunch of different vitamin C products or derivatives that you can use, but this one is lightweight, it is absolutely lovely, and it does create both brightness and glow to my skin. Now, when it comes to pigmentation, or you know, how it works on like my acne blemishes, it does not erase my acne blemishes, but overall this is a really nice lightweight one on my skin. I'm going to continue using it. It's both this texture and the way it's formulated and the way it feels on my skin and the price that I am so happy about. Then, even a step above the Inkey Lists is this one from The Ordinary. This is a real powerhouse for people who have pigmentation. And yes, I have tried this on my back where I have a lot of my acne blemishes and therefore a bit more pigmentation. This is the ascorbic acid 8% and the alpha-arbutin 2%. And the ascorbic acid is the vitamin C component, and alpha-arbutin, or alpha-arbutin, depending on how you pronounce it, is actually what helps with pigmentation. You see, alpha-arbutin is a tyrosinase inhibitor. Tyrosinase is that rate-limiting enzyme that is essential to the formation and kind of the spread of pigment inside of the skin. And if we kind of stop that and kind of like put a roadblock in that entire pathway, that pigmentation can't spread. So for someone who is looking for a vitamin C that actually works for pigmentation, this is going to be your best friend. If you want antioxidant benefits, a brightening glow, yeah, it works, but this is really meant for those who do struggle with pigment. Now, I do love this one, but I do wish it were a little bit more multifunctional. It also comes out as like a liquidy oil. You can actually see on the inside, you see how mine is oxidizing? That's what oxidation looks like. And what I like about The Ordinaries is that it's inexpensive, but it's actually in this light sealed container. And this one, it does heat up just a touch on the skin. You can kind of feel it flush, but this goes on super nice. It gives the skin a nice serumy glow. It's not overly greasy. It is efficacious. You can use it day or night, or day and night if you choose. And especially if you're someone who struggles with breakouts that end up leaving dark marks on the skin, you pop this on, you let it soak in, and the vitamin C and alpha-arbutin really help with stopping that pimple from turning into that red or brown mark as quickly or as intensively. And they can also help with healing, since yes, vitamin C can help heal the skin. The price on this is right. I feel very similarly to this, the way I do about this, but for pigmentation versus just the overall glow and texture. But again, this is much more expensive, whereas this is much more affordable. This will be your friend if you have pigmentation. Then we get to almost my favorite vitamin C ever. If you love popping pimples, if you love a pillowy, dimethicone feel on the skin, oh, you are gonna love these. These are vitamin C capsules from Beauty Pie. These are actually very, very similar and technically made in similar laboratories that luxury products are made in. I'm talking about Elizabeth Arden, I'm talking about Estee Lauder, and they will charge you a lot of money for them. Rodan and Fields have these like encapsulated things as well, but let me tell you, these ones from Beauty Pie cannot be beat. They're almost like these little water balloons, these little whoopee cushions full of product. And if you love popping pimples, oh my god, you are going to love these. It is a sensorial experience. They are easy to travel with. They are super easy to apply. And you literally just kind of pick off or twist off the top and then ready? 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 This is the best part. You squeeze them out and it is so satisfying. And it gives you the absolute perfect amount of product. And then because of the little like water balloon that they're put in, you can actually squeeze out all the product so you're not wasting any. And I feel like I'm actually getting more out of these rather than like having to scrape out the inside of a bottle, which I can't always do. This is super nice. It is super pillowy. It is non-grainy. This goes on super dry touch, so please keep that in mind. This is not a moisturizer. You are going to need a moisturizer either underneath or alongside this, but oh my god, it is so good. And if you like the feel of makeup primer on your skin, this is it. It feels like you are literally touching a teddy bear. It is super efficacious, it is super potent. I found that it helps give my skin brightness, but it even helps to fill in some of my acne scars, because again, that dimethicone. It is absolutely glorious, and I do find that it also helps with these little fine lines and wrinkles that yes, I do struggle with. The only vitamin C that I love more than this is this one. And it's purely because of the way it makes me look and feel. The price is right, it's vegan and cruelty free, the bottle is amazing and slightly rainbow. I do wish that it were in a light sealed container. I do have to keep this in a dark location because remember, light degrades vitamin C, but this is from Dear Claire's. This is the freshly juiced vitamin drop, and this feels like a sauna on your face. I have not yet gone through menopause, but this feels like what I imagine menopause on your face feels like, but in a good way. It is like a warm hug. It goes onto this skin with this little flush, so let me tell you, if you have sensitive skin, this is not going to be for you. But check it out, it's like this liquidy serum, and then it goes on and it heats up, and then it calms down, and it is just a sensorial experience for your face. I love sensorial experiences. I love feeling connected to my skincare, understanding how it works, and like feeling it do something for me. Again, you don't have to have skincare that burns in order for it to work, but this one does not burn for me. This just gives you that nice little flush to say, hello, I'm here, mwah. It's like a vitamin C kiss in a sauna, having menopause. It just like hugs your face so wonderfully. And then, you know, it goes back to like its normal temperature, but it leaves your skin completely supple. It is not overly irritated. It is not overly greasy. It just soaks into the skin so nicely. And I'm like, this is witchcraft. This is sorcery. And I love it. It does have Centella asiatica, and they do claim that it has a hybrid stabilization technology, and maybe that's why they're not putting it in a light sealed container. That is the one thing that I would change about this, is that I would want it in a light sealed container because I think it would be a little bit better that way. Just for the stability fact. But I also use this up so quickly that I actually don't need it to be that stable because I just love throwing it on my face. I did switch over to this one recently, which I am currently loving, but this is one of the best vitamin C's I've ever used. It makes my skin look great. It has helped kind of plump up these areas. I don't know because I'm not measuring the amount of collagen in my skin and whether or not it's like, you know, being degraded, but I have not felt like there's collagen degradation in this. It works well under my sunscreen. I can't say that it prevents me from getting a sunburn for longer. That is what the science says, but like I can't specifically vouch for that, but that's because I use good sunscreens. But I freaking love this one. And for my skin, for what I like, for my combination to oiliness and my acne proneness, this does not break me out and it just makes me happy. And all of these vitamin C's, as you can see, are the things that do and don't work for me. There's a ton of vitamin C's out there, so if I missed one, make sure that you tell me in the comments below. And if you have not given a glow up to that like button and subscribe button, make sure you do so before you do anything else, such as clicking on this next video. Always remember to be beautiful both inside and out, and I cannot wait to see you in this one. Love you guys. Bye.